The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Chapter 15. The Discovery of Oz the Terrible. Part 1. The four travelers approached the great gate of the Emerald City and rang the bell. After ringing it several times, the gate was opened by the same guardian of the gates they had met before. "What? Back again?" he asked, looking astonished. "Don't you see us?" said the Scarecrow. "But I thought you had gone to visit the Wicked Witch of the West," said the man. "We did," replied the Scarecrow. "And she allowed you to return?" the man asked in amazement. "She had no choice. She melted," explained the Scarecrow. "Melted? Why, that's excellent news," said the man. "Who caused her to melt?" "Dorothy did," said the lion solemnly. "Good heavens!" exclaimed the man, bowing low before her. He led them into his little room and fastened the green spectacles from the great box onto their eyes, just as before. Then they passed through the gate and entered the Emerald City. The soldier with the green whiskers was still standing guard at the door, but he admitted them immediately. The same lovely green girl greeted them and guided each one back to their former rooms. There they could rest until the Great Oz was prepared to receive them. The soldier immediately sent word to Oz that Dorothy and her companions had returned after destroying the Wicked Witch. But Oz gave no reply. They expected the Great Wizard to summon them at once, yet he did not. No message came the next day, nor the next, nor even after that. At last, the Scarecrow told the green girl to deliver another message to Oz. He said that if Oz did not receive them soon, they would call upon the winged monkeys to find out whether he truly meant to keep his promises. When the wizard received this message, he was so terrified that he told them to come to the throne room at 9:04 the next morning. He had once encountered the winged monkeys in the land of the West, and he had no desire to face them again. The four travelers spent a sleepless night, each one thinking about the gift Oz had promised to give. Right at 9 o'clock the next morning, the green-whiskered soldier appeared, and 4 minutes later they entered the throne room of the Great Oz. Naturally, each traveler expected to see the wizard appear in the same form as before. But to their great surprise, when they looked around, there was no one in the room. They huddled near the door and stayed close together. The silence of the empty chamber was more terrifying than any of the shapes Oz had ever taken. After a moment, they heard a solemn voice that seemed to echo from the top of the high dome. It said, "I am Oz, the Great and Terrible. Why do you seek me?" They searched every corner of the room, and, finding no one, Dorothy asked, "Where are you?" "I am everywhere," replied the voice. "But to ordinary eyes, I am invisible. I shall now sit upon my throne so that you may speak with me." The sound seemed to come directly from the throne. They stepped forward and stood in a line while Dorothy began to speak. "We have come to claim the promises you made, Oz," said Dorothy. "What promises do you mean?" asked Oz. "You promised to send me home to Kansas when the Wicked Witch was destroyed," said Dorothy. "And you promised to give me brains," added the Scarecrow. "And you promised to give me a heart," said the Tin Woodman. And you promised to give me courage, said the Cowardly Lion. Is the Wicked Witch truly destroyed? Asked the voice, and Dorothy thought it trembled slightly. Yes, she replied. I melted her with a bucket of water. Goodness, said the voice. How sudden! Come to me tomorrow, for I must have time to consider this. You've had plenty of time already, said the Tin Woodman angrily. We won't wait another day, said the Scarecrow. You must keep your promises to us, said Dorothy firmly. The lion thought it might help to frighten the wizard, so he let out a loud, powerful roar. The sound was so fierce that Toto leaped away in fear and knocked over a screen standing in the corner. The screen fell with a crash, and they all turned to look. In the next instant, every one of them was filled with amazement. They saw, standing in the spot the screen had hidden, a small old man with a bald head and a wrinkled face, who looked just as surprised as they did. The Tin Woodman raised his axe, rushed toward him, and demanded, Who are you? I am Oz, the Great and Terrible, said the little man in a trembling voice. But please, don't strike me. I'll do anything you ask. The travelers stared at him in astonishment and dismay.
Oh my God!
I thought Oz was a great head, said Dorothy. And I thought Oz was a beautiful lady, said the Scarecrow. And I thought Oz was a dreadful beast, said the Tin Woodman. And I thought Oz was a ball of fire, said the lion. No, you are all mistaken, replied the little man softly. I've only been pretending. Pretending, cried Dorothy. Then you're not a great wizard? Quiet, my dear, he said. Don't speak so loudly, or someone might hear, and then I'd be ruined. I'm supposed to be a great wizard. But aren't you? She asked. Not at all, my dear. I'm only an ordinary man. You're worse than that, said the Scarecrow sadly. You're a humbug.
I am a fake.
Exactly, said the little man, rubbing his hands together as if the word pleased him. I am a humbug. But that's dreadful, said the Tin Woodman. How am I ever to get my heart? Or I my courage? Asked the lion. Or I my brains? Cried the Scarecrow, wiping tears from his eyes with his sleeve. My dear friends, said Oz, please don't speak of these small matters. Think of me and the terrible trouble I'm in now that I've been found out. Does no one else know you're a humbug? Asked Dorothy. No one knows the truth except you four and myself, replied Oz. I've deceived everyone for so long that I thought I would never be discovered. It was a serious mistake to let you into the throne room. Usually I refuse to see even my subjects, so they continue to believe I am something dreadful and powerful. But I don't understand, said Dorothy in confusion. How did you make yourself appear to me as a great head? That was one of my tricks, said Oz. Come this way, and I'll explain everything to you.
Come this way.